Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey. We have talked about Will Ferrell on this podcast before, a couple of different times. We're going to talk about him here today. We're also going to talk about Marky Mark. Don't know, sometimes I wonder if he likes that. I don't think he cares for that too much, but look, just because he's no longer called Marky Mark does not mean I can't refer to him as Marky Mark, because, to refer to him as anything other than that, to me, is just completely disrespecting the Funky Bunch. And I don't want to do that because, those are my guys. Look, we're going to talk about a buddy cop here in movie today. And the reason I may be a little off track is that at the time we record this, we are a week after something major that happened in this country that Phil and I both live in. And since we try not to date what happens on the show, I'll try to keep it vague. But man, it was not a great week last week for a whole lot of us. But we will press on. The 6M will press on. So will the main event. So will other podcasts that I have. So will Phil's podcast, because we just continue to do what we do. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But today we're going to talk about fun stuff. Because when you got Will Ferrell and Marky Mark working together, you're bound to get some fun stuff. So today, we're talking about The Other Guys. And this movie, don't know how you guys consider it, if you consider it a good movie or if it kind of falls short for you. Don't know how you perceive it. I got thoughts, but can't wait to talk about it because I love both these guys, to be honest with you. And them together, I think, are a natural combination. Can't wait to talk about that here today, too. And I think it'll be a fun time. So buckle up, kids. Here we go. The Other Guys is a 2010 American buddy cop action comedy film directed by Adam McKay, who co-wrote it with Chris Henshey. It stars Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, that's Marky Mark to you, with an assorted cast of actors around them in supporting roles. A couple of them you know, a few of them you know. Okay, you know all of them. This film is the fourth of 5 collaborations between Ferrell and McKay, following Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and Step Brothers, and followed by Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. The Other Guys is the only one not to be co-written by Ferrell. It is also the first of 3 collaborations between Ferrell and Wahlberg, who later reunited in Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2. This film was released in the United States on August 6, 2010. And as we said before, written by Adam McKay and Chris Henshey, produced by Will Ferrell, Adam McKay, Jimmy Miller, and Patrick Crowley, starring, of course, as we said, Ferrell and Wahlberg. Total running time is 107 minutes. The budget for this movie, don't know how you get an approximated budget, but here it is, 85 to 100 million. The box office for this film, just under $171 million. And that is your lowdown on The Other Guys. So, Phil, we did this, number one, because we wanted to, but number two, you have spoke very highly of this film in the past. We've referenced it here before on the show and mentioned it in passing. What is it that you like about this movie overall as we get into it here today?
Other Guys was one of those legitimate surprises for me. It was one of those movies that I kind of went into completely cold. I saw some of the marketing for it, but I didn't see any of the trailers. I somehow missed all of the commercials. So I had no idea what this movie is about. And so going into it in like the first maybe 20 minutes or so, the movie's going in one direction. You think this movie is going to be one thing. And then it just completely veers in a different direction. And it was such a pleasant surprise for me. I think that's what makes it such an enjoyable viewing experience. That's what makes it at least so funny to me.
Dude, I'm 100% with you. And I know the swerve was there on purpose, but it makes it no less effective in the beginning, dude.
I think it's even more effective if you don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah, because you don't see it coming. And kids, if you haven't seen it for whatever reason, we're going to ruin it to death here for you. But if you have seen, you know what we're talking about. The big holy cow moment that happens 15 minutes into this movie, Phil. It doesn't take very long. I mean, the first time you saw that, completely unexpected. You didn't have any knowledge of that at all, did you?
No, I had no idea where it was going.
That's good stuff, man. Because I, kind of be honest with you, I think I've only seen this movie twice. So, and it's been a long, long time. So I had completely forgotten about that twist. But we'll get to it. I think that's pretty cool. I like when stuff happens as unexpected. My overall take on this, if I'm being real, it's not my favorite thing I've ever seen. I think there's high spots. I think Michael Keaton is a huge high spot. I think I think some of the jokes are good. I don't think some of the other jokes work too well. You know, I don't dislike this movie by any means. I enjoy it. But for me, I don't know if it's quite as, I think he and Ferrell together, Wahlberg and Ferrell together are fantastic. I think they have a lot of chemistry. You can tell they really enjoy working with each other. I think they do very well together. But there's just awkward moments here that I know were supposed to be funny. But for me, I'm sitting back going, all right, let's move to the next scene. But, you know, Phil, I guess really that's the point. That's kind of McKay's brand of comedy, too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of awkwardness here that ends up being really funny. There are some jokes that maybe go on a little bit too long, but yeah, for the most part, I think the awkwardness and kind of the way that they flip some of the tropes around in here makes it as funny as it is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I agree with you. And you know, we're talking about the main two guys here. What do you think about these two working together? Because I kind of feel like, Phil, that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people love the Daddy's Home stuff. Can I be honest? I'm not a huge fan of either movie. I think they're both really good in it. But the movies as a whole, I'm like, they're okay. Has there really been a blockbuster, man, you've got to see this movie with both these guys in it? Or am I just not sold with the rest of the crowd on the other two films?
I don't know because I did not see either of the Daddy's Homes movies. And this movie, I saw it after the fact. I saw it after it was in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels like there is a hit waiting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll get it. I don't know.
I kind of feel like this movie got a lot of success after theaters, and a lot of it was word of mouth. But I feel like that happens a lot with Will Ferrell movies where they're so stupid that you're expecting it to be his brand of humor, and it's like, all right, we've seen a Will Ferrell movie before, and it turns out to be way funnier than people think, and then word of mouth turns it into this bigger hit. Because that's what happened with Anchorman, and I would say that's what happened with Step Brothers, and a lot of movies throughout his career. I feel like word of mouth turned it into this bigger hit than it probably would have been on its own.
Yeah, people just keep talking about it, and it gets around. People are like, "All right, fine, I'll go see it," and then it blows up. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm good with this movie. I do enjoy it. To me, it's, I don't know. I don't know where I would rank it. In my opinion, it's not one of Farrell's better movies, but I do like it. The Daddy's Home stuff is a little, like I said, it's a little weird to me. You know, Farrell, and you know, we've talked about this guy more than once here, man, about the fact that some of his stuff clicks. Like the first Anchorman did not click with me, although to be fair, I haven't seen it in years. So I do, and I've been intending on going back and giving it another chance because I want to. I feel like I need to. I enjoyed Ricky Bobby. I thought Talladega Nights was just stupid funny.
Mm-hmm.
And the jokes in that movie are just, I mean, it's got Gary Cole, man. How do you not like that movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Anchorman, I did see in the theater, and I think there's every now and then when you go see a movie at a theater, and if something can get you laugh like you would laugh at home, not in front of other people, it's a success. Anchorman absolutely got one of the longest sustained laugh out of me in a theater that I probably have ever experienced. Like that scene when Jack Black kicks the dog off the bridge because it comes out of nowhere. I cannot tell you how long I was sitting there laughing at it. It's just him doing it turning around to the camera and going, "That's how I roll," and then you just get the empty silence.
Man, I've got one that I can share that's close to that. The South Park movie, when I went to see it in theaters. When the kids come out of the what is it, the
Terrence and Phillip?
that's it. The Terrence and Phillip, when they come out of the theater after having seen the Terrence and Phillip movie and they're cursing, first time we've ever heard them curse without being censored ever. Dude, I laughed so hard I couldn't even hear the movie because you just get that strong laugh going and you're doubling over. Dude, I lost my mind. Lost my mind. I love movies that can do that to me. Yeah, I got to go back and give Anchorman a chance, man, to be honest. I just haven't done it yet. It's on my to-do list. Like I said, I like Ferrell and Wahlberg together. I think it works. Another pair that should have worked and worked for the few minutes we saw them, and this is the swerve, kids. Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. By the way, Will Ferrell, because I didn't mention, is Detective Alan Gator Gamble, and Mark Wahlberg is Detective Terry Hoyts. So you've got Sam Jackson as Highsmith, Detective P.K. Highsmith, and Dwayne Johnson as Detective Christopher Danson. So Highsmith, was it Danson and Highsmith or whatever they referred to them as? Generic hero cops, Phil. They look cool. They are cool. They're brash. They're cocky. They're arrogant. They caused $12 million worth of damage to the city over like an ounce of marijuana or quarter ounce. Absolutely ridiculous. What did you think about these two guys here?
Yeah, this is what I mean about coming in with these tropes of these guys and thinking that these are the two leading men of this movie. And yeah, it makes all the sense in the world that, I mean, not just from a standpoint of what they represent as characters and stereotypes that they're playing, but from a big studio, yeah. The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, like, yeah, you would think that's printing money. And the idea of presenting these characters and then killing them within the first hour of the movie. Wait a minute, what? What kind of movie is this?
Dude, when they jump off that building, that is breathtaking. Do you know what I mean?
There goes my hero.
Dude. And by the way, did you ever see the bushes they were talking about?
There are no bushes.
There's no bushes. Is there a joke that I've missed? Like, I assume there's a joke I missed there, man.
I think it was just that those guys were so arrogant and stupid that they believed their own hype. Mm-hmm. That they believed, I can jump in. No, we'll make it. Why not? We're untouchable.
Dude, I mean, how many stories up were they? For God's sake.
They were falling for a long time.
They're a long time. It's like that bit in Doctor Strange with Loki. Remember, I've been falling for an hour or whatever it is. Oh my God, that is freaking wonderful. I just, again, if you don't know it's coming and then it happens, you're just knocked out by it. Knocked out by it.
Very funny.
By the way, here's a little bit of trivia for the role of Detective Highsmith was originally written with Michael Chiklis in mind. And by the way, he was offered the part. He turned it down to avoid typecasting after the series finale of The Shield in 2002.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think it would have fit well, but I understood why they went in the direction they did.
Crazy. That would have been different for sure. I can't get past that. I just watched it again. It is freaking insane, man. And of course, the story here, Phil, obviously, is that you've got Ferrell and Wahlberg's characters who were the other guys. They're not the top guys. They're not the main two hero cops. They're just two other guys. They're nobodies. Wahlberg got in trouble for a while back for doing something he shouldn't have done. So now he's been busted down to this, and he's a nobody. What a great spot that was, too, by the way.
The Yankee Clipper.
Yeah.
The way that they kept throwing it in as like an aside, when they go to the office and they're introduced, and the secretary introduced him by his real name, and the guy that shot Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, man. It's so funny.
What is he still? Keaton, I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly, right?
Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous, man. Yeah, that's good stuff, dude. Because like at least it gives him a backstory, and like Wahlberg is like raging at Ferrell, like yelling and screaming at him, just upset because Ferrell is like just the most normal guy. Of course he is. He's the white bread guy. He's got that hair and he's very clean cut with the glasses and the sharp tie and the clean shirt and everything. And Wahlberg's the guy with the hoodie and the black tee. But then Ferrell ends up having weird stuff happening with him too, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, man, I love the dynamic of like, here's these two hero cops and here's these other two guys. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's two random guy that works at the desk and this random screw up. Can you imagine where your career would be if you didn't shoot Jeter?
Yeah. That's a good line. Yeah. Let's talk about the captain. Captain Gene, which don't call me that. I'm your captain. We're not friends, right? Man, is this one of the most underrated things that Michael Keaton's ever done?
Yeah, very funny. The bit of him quoting TLC throughout the movie, very funny. And he's just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's so many things he does with this. Because people forget, like Michael Keaton's a big, massive movie star, but he got his start in comedy, so he's very good at comedy. He's got great timing. When they're arguing at that funeral, and he comes over there and starts yelling at him, but he's still whispering the whole time. It's so funny.
And they tried to fight very quietly on the floor because they're trying to be respectful. Even the scuffle was very, very light touch. Like they were trying not to make any noise.
Very quiet. They're all around them, like rooting them on. They're all whispering.
Yeah.
Then the captain comes over there and he's whispering too.
Keaton's like, listen, guys, I got two jobs. I work here and I have another job, Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm doing it to put a kid through NYU so he can explore his bisexuality and become a DJ. That's so funny to me, man.
Yeah. Nah, his whole role in the movie was great. It was the
Yeah.
angry captain, but then you also brought him down to earth in a lot of ways. Like he felt like a real person with like real struggles.
I love the fact he kept mentioning his bisexual son more than one time in the movie. At like the worst possible moments, he would bring it up. Yeah, the TLC bit's funny too, man. It's really good. It's like, oh, come on. Now you've got to know. You have to know. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's a great gag, man. That's a great little bit. Yeah, he's awesome here, man. I'm telling you, I've always been a Michael Keaton fan. He just seems to keep getting better and better. So let's talk about Eva Mendes. And this is Will Ferrell's character, Gamble's wife. Dude, the dynamic between these two, Phil, talk about unexpected. It's as unexpected as The Rock and Jackson jumping off that building. Like, this stuff is freaking awesome, man. It's one of the funniest bits of the entire movie.
Yeah. There's the bit with Will Ferrell's character, and women really love this guy. That bit that goes throughout the movie is very funny. But yeah, meeting his wife and it ends up being Eva Mendes, and she she's basically playing into it like, yeah, you know, I know I'm not, I know you deserve better than me, but you know, it'll have to do. Like, wait a minute. And the whole time Wahlberg is like, who is this? Like, no, who is that?
Yeah.
It's my wife. Like, no, seriously, who is that?
So, you know, who is it really? You got to be playing. Like, he can't get over it.
Yeah, the whole time he's just acting like, yeah, she's all right. And he's like, nah. What does he say at one point? No, your wife's scalding hot.
Yeah. I think we've talked about the fact that there's moments when it feels like she's on point and maybe she's not on point. I thought this was one of the funniest things I've ever seen her do. I thought it worked out really well for her in this movie, dude.
Yeah, when she's just trying to do like the homemaker thing and like, no, just be safe with me. Come away with me and be safe. And he's just like doing all this outrageous stuff around her. And she's still doing the pleasant, like almost Snow White voice. It's so funny. The only time she breaks out of it is when he does the gator bit, which is one of the funniest parts of the movie. He's just like, man, sometimes I've got an animal in me. He wants to get out. Wants some walking around money. Wants to say, get it, don't take no shit. You feel me? Get it, never been about that. Gator never been about that. And she's just like confused by the whole thing. And he starts yelling at her. Oh, what did he say? Who's the man that did that to you? Who's that baby in you? Who put that baby in you? And she just like starts yelling at him. Get out, Alan. Get out.
I was kind of surprised she threw him out because she had put up with so much nonsense. I'm like, well, that won't be a deal breaker either, you know?
Yeah, because at first she's like still talking in a low voice. She's like, you gotta leave. Then she's like, wait a minute. Get out, Alan.
She puts up with a lot because she's so self-deprecating and doesn't know she's being that way because she generally feels like, I don't know, it's like her character is just so in love with this guy, she doesn't understand that he's kind of a schmuck. And then he never knew he was a pimp the whole time.
Oh my God. Yeah, that, of course, also a very funny bit from this movie. Gator.
I like how when they had the flashback of him getting that girl dates and stuff and taking a cut, and the more the flashback went on, the crazier he started dressing till he was flat out a pimp.
Yeah, he's like walking around with the chain at one point. He's got like the leather jacket. He's like walking around with a crew of women.
Yeah. Yeah. How in the world do you not know? How do you not know what you are? Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. There's some surprises here, man, honestly, which is good because at least it's keeping you on your toes. But I thought she was really good here too.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
The primary, I guess you say the primary antagonist, at least we're supposed to believe that way, but it's really hard to hate Steve Coogan. Steve Coogan is freaking awesome. And Jay and Joe from Two Nations podcast, shameless plug, love this guy. They mention him all the time. He's played a character named Alan Partridge a lot on UK television, I believe, on BBC and stuff like that, and in other projects. But, you and I know him probably from Tropic Thunder as the director of that movie, or, in the movie, I should say. But he is here as Dr. David Ershon. Dude, I thought he was wonderful in this movie, man. He's quirky. He's weird. We don't know what's going on, but I thought he was great here.
Yeah, he's great. He's very funny. He just, there's so many random things he does that it's like, wait a minute. When he keeps bribing them, he's like, yes. I got two choices for you guys. Jersey Boys. And next thing you know, there's like sitting front row at Jersey Boys, like, wait a minute. Like, is it a bribe?
Wait, we did it again.
I got Nick Fever. Nick game. He's like, wait a minute, this is a bribe.
Yeah. Yeah, he kept fooling him. It's like, all right. I understand. But, and then he would hand him something else.
Yeah, it's just like his straight face that he has when he's like, they're like, you're not going to keep bribing us. And he's like, nope, not a bribe. You're paying us to not do our job. Nope, not a bribe.
Yeah. In the meantime, he wasn't hiding anything. Did you notice that? He wasn't even trying to get away. He was always there when they came back to his office.
Yeah. No, yeah. That or his don't let these men take me.
Yeah. Because we have no idea what's going on in the beginning of this movie. Like, kind of clueless as to what in the world's happening.
Yeah, he had several lines like that are just very, like, understated lines, but in his delivery is very much like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Vidal Sassoon hot oil treatment.
Yeah. It's so good. There's so many moments with him. And also, and even though he was never funny, he was always the straight man. He got caught up in scenes where everybody's kind of funny around him. But that is Ray Stevenson, the late, great Ray Stevenson, whom I think to this day is behind John Barenthal, the best Punisher. I mean, sorry, but I love Thomas Jane. But Ray Stevenson's here, man. I thought he was a perfect casting choice here, dude. Straight man, gritty, not a good dude, definitely a bad guy. I thought he was great here.
Yeah, he comes in and he just like bops somebody on the head or just does something very violent. Is that his line in the movie where he's like, shut up or I'll rip your ear off with a butter knife?
I think so, yeah. Man, what a loss, dude. I gotta say, what a loss.
Yeah, what a great actor. He's contributed a lot. I mean, just recently he was great in Ahsoka show. I thought.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, definitely will be missed.
for sure. Yeah. Again, you don't know what's happening in this movie till it actually starts unfolding, and then comes to find out, yeah, this guy's no good for sure because you don't really know who's behind anything. I thought it was a nice swerve with that, and I thought trying to keep you guessing on the rest of it made sense. A quick rundown of the plot here, kids. If you're still following along here with us, Gamble and Hoyts, they're both, of course, cops, New York City Police Department. And of course, as we said, Alan is a mild-mannered forensic accountant, while Terry is a hot-tempered detective. And yes, partnered with Alan after mistakenly shooting Derek Jeter during the World Series, earning the nickname Yankee Clipper. They received no respect from the other officers, particularly detectives Martin and Fosse. So we got to talk about Martin and Fosse, another pair of cops here who you don't know how good it's going to be. I thought they were great together. But this is Rob Riggle as Martin and Damon Wayans Jr. as Fosse. And dude, Phil, we've got another set of guys. So these are the other guys, I suppose. The other guys. Thought they were both really good in this flick.
Yeah, I thought that they were both funny as well.
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah,
Rob Riggle has been in a ton of stuff. He's been very, very funny actor. But of course, David Wayans Jr. He's it's in his blood. He's a Wayans.
oh for sure. He's got a new project coming out with his dad. It's a sitcom.
Yeah, he had a sketch show with his dad at one point on Showtime, I think. Underground, that's the name of it.
Yeah, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series in 2012. So I didn't realize because I just haven't really been following. I don't watch a lot of I can't say I don't watch any in the moment, mainstream network stuff because I do, but it's just not a lot. It's it's under 5 shows of mainstream network stuff that I watch, so I don't really follow him that much. But he and Riggle together are really good here for sure. And they're talking about the funeral. That stuff is hilarious when they get in the fight because Riggle calls him one shot. Was it one shot Jeter or something? I'm sorry. He says the one that shot Jeter and the other one shot in office because he had him take his gun out.
Office pop.
Yeah, office pop. Have some decorum. We're at a funeral, and Wayne says, "You want to dance, Brolio? I will rock your body with big nasty hooks. You'll be peeing blood out of your, And he goes, "That's horrible." When he talks to him, and Wahlberg says, "You back off." He said, "I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. I'm gonna use his head." It's like I think he made a comment on the size of Ferrell's head.
Yeah,
That's a stupid joke.
Their banter back and forth is very funny when they're joking on them, trying to get to the who gets to the crime scene first.
Yeah,
and there's all the jokes about the Prius and all the jokes on him driving a Prius as a cop are also funny.
Man, the Prius thing with the homeless guys, who came up with this bit of the homeless guys having sex in his Prius, man?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but it's one of many jokes in this movie that just came out of nowhere. And they ran with the bit. They committed to the bit. They brought it back twice, I think, after it was first mentioned. Hoyts is like, "What is this?" Gamble's like, "It's my car. It's a Prius." He says, "I feel like we're literally driving around in a vagina." What is the other joke from the other officer? He's does that car come with a dental dam?
That's right. Yes, that's a great line. When they find the car, he's like, "From bodily fluids and hair samples, we've determined that a bunch of old homeless dudes had an orgy in here." That's what you determined? How did you get that from bodily fluids and hair samples?
Right.
I don't have any idea.
Man, there's so many jokes like that where they'll introduce a joke and then one of the characters is trying to explain in the midst of the joke and making it even funnier. Like when when Gamble buys Hoyt's the mug with the FBI on it, and he's like, "You get the joke, right? It's female body inspector." Like you're looking at it first and you think it's FBI, and then you look at what it really says. It's like, wait a minute, female body inspector, get out of town, and then he just throws it out the window.
Oh man, yeah, that's good. Because again, it's a dumb joke. It's a dumb joke that should never work, and it doesn't really work too much till he throws it out the window.
I think it's him throwing it out the window, and it's Will Ferrell's delivery of him trying to explain the joke while it's happening.
Mm.
That makes it even funnier. And he does that a few times where he when he's like, feel like we should call each other the Febreze brothers, which the Febreze brothers in itself is not that funny, but just his delivery of him trying to explain to Hoyt the joke, and Wahlberg the entire time looking at him like, I hate you.
Yeah.
Everything about it is so funny.
Well, what about yeah, for sure. What about when they're both interrogating him and both interrogating Urshan, and he tells him, "We're gonna do good cop, bad cop. All right, it's the oldest game in the book for a reason. It works. I come strong, then you come in. You got it?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I come strong, and you come in. You got it?" And he's like, "Right, got it." He goes to him and says, "Now you listen to me, you piece of crap. It's just you and me, and I'm gonna rip you apart. How'd you cover your losses up, huh? What drug cartel are you working with?" And then Urshan says immediately, it says, "Okay, I'll talk to you." And points it out, and Urshan goes, "You're reasonable." And Hoyt goes, No, look at me. And Gamble's like, "Yeah, you want to talk to me?" And then here he comes, pushing Terry away and storming on Urshan. And Hoyt's just like, "Huh, what are you doing?" And he's screaming, "I'm going to make you eat a plate of human crap." He's like yelling at him and got him down on the table or on the desk.
Yeah, he's just screaming, "You want to talk to me? You want to talk to me?"
Yeah. Campbell's like, "Look, I'm really sorry about that. I just saw how aggressive you were being, and I thought, wow, I got to go even bigger than that since we're doing bad cop, bad cop." He told him twice they were doing good cop, bad cop.
There is no such thing as bad cop, bad cop.
No, I imagine that
There's
wouldn't
no
work.
such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing. He's just like, nah, that's what I thought you said. Why would he have said that? That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And of course, hence the reason why he told him twice, because that makes the joke even better. Because he did tell him twice. And he, "Oh, no, yeah, I got it. Right. I got it. You got it. All right." Then he went in and just screwed the whole thing up. I love the dynamic of this. There's a lot of like moving parts in place, but I think that everything clicks. The story at any given time, and by the way, kids, here's the rest of it here. All right. So we've laid out who the main characters are here, right? So Alan and Terry investigate a scaffolding permit violation. That's all it is, by this David Urshan character. But they wind up uncovering a much bigger plot by Urshan to cover the losses incurred by his client, Lindy Global. Lindy Global, or Lindell, is it Lindell? Lindell Global?
Yeah.
Lindy? Yeah.
I think it's Lindell.
Lindell, yeah. CEO Pamela Boardman has hired a team of mercenaries led by Roger Wesley to make sure Urshan pays her back. And then he ends up, Phil, in the end of it, he's going to cover it with like cops' pension money is how he's going to do it, right? Like, that seems a little hokey, but it's fine. It's a comedy. But at least it took us a while to get there. I do like the Bed Bath & Beyond stuff, by the way. I think that's pretty good too. A lot of weird stuff happening at the same time here.
Yeah, it's hokey, and it's one heck of a coincidence that, they're investigating him, and the thing that he's trying to use to cover the losses directly affects them by the end.
It directly affects them. And of course, they had no idea.
Yeah, a heck of a coincidence.
Yeah. And again, the tickets, that stuff's good. All that stuff works, man, for sure. Yeah, like you said, just coincidence, just random coincidence that came out of nowhere. So what happens next is that, let's see, during their investigation, Alan and Terry are wounded due to an unsuccessful attempt at scaring them off the bombing of an accounting office when they come in to investigate it. And dude, when they hit the ground, and I'm kind of skipping around here, when they hit the ground after that explosion, and they're talking about how come in the movies it's not like this, dude. That is very funny to me.
Yeah, hilarious. Gamble's like, "I can't hear."
Yeah, he's yelling in the next scene because his eardrums have popped, I guess.
Yeah.
He says, "There's blood blisters on my hands. Oh my God. How do you walk away in a movie without flinching when it explodes behind them? There's no way. I call BS on that."
No, they just flew away after the. Isn't he talking about Star Wars after that?
Yeah, the Falcon. Yeah.
Millennium Falcon flew away afterwards. I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah. Hoyt says, "Don't you dare badmouth Star Wars. That was all accurate." What did you think about the other little plot line here about Hoyt's trying to get his girl back and knowing how to dance and stuff? And they're like, "Wow, that's actually pretty good." That was this is Lindsay Sloan as Francine, his ex. What did you think about that bit?
Loves you very much, Francine.
Yeah, he kept taking up for him. Yeah.
He's like standing in a doorway at a distance yelling things, and she's just like, yeah, not helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that he is so detached from reality that he can't just buy the fact that she just left him for legitimate reasons. He's got like this whole conspiracy around like police work that has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing.
That bit is funny, but also his bit of being really good at something to spite people is also very funny. Like when he does the ballet dance and very funny. The joke with their with their wedding, he played Heart by the Spite and it was beautiful.
Yes.
Because he's a man's man. He wouldn't know how to do that.
Of course. Again, like sometimes we do the films like this, Phil, and like there'll be one straight guy and one, he's a screw up, right? Both these guys are screw ups, man. Neither one of these guys is a straight man to me.
Yeah. I think that's part of what makes it so funny is that you would think that, yeah, the Gamble character is the straight guy because he's the accountant guy, but then he's got this whole weird checkered past with his with being a pimp and the gator stuff, and he's also very smart but also kind of an idiot.
And the back and forth they have, Phil, I think is the highlight of this whole movie. Just their dynamic. When he's telling him the duck joke, and he's like, "Little boy on his 13th birthday, it's time to get laid." And Ferrell goes, "Already feels inappropriate." Like, so goes to the lady at the barn and says, "Miss, I know you usually want money, but I don't have any money. It's my birthday. Do you think I could have sex with you for this duck?" Gamble says, "Was he a farmer? Because that's probably a health code violation to bring a duck into a place of prostitution." He says, "They were going to have sex with the duck." He goes, "No, I just mean a health code violation to have the duck brought into a facility like that." Like every time he tries to tell the joke, he interrupts him with something else.
Yeah, just Gamble in general of just he has all of this weird stuff going on with him, but like I said, he's supposed to be the smarter guy, in comparison to Hoyt, who is impulsive, and so he. But also, all of these things he's doing are also very weird. Like when he's going to that bar and singing those shanties with those guys. Like what? Where did this come from?
Yeah. He stopped mid-conversation. "Oh, wait, hold on, be right back." And he had to go do the thing.
There's so many things like that. Like his relationship with women, like all these women keep walking past him and like either winking or smirking at him. And he's just like, what?
Yeah.
He goes and meets his ex and he's questioning her and like she's still totally into him and he's just like, what?
He's like, "How do you do this? And what's going on with this?" Like, he can't believe it. His ex is hot as well.
All of that stuff. That he comes in and he's like very rude to her, and she's still very much into him. But Hoyt does something as simple as just mess up her name, and then they just get up and just start screaming at him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Listen, you idiot! My name is Christina. You come into my wife's house, you get her name correct. It's Christina. Christina.
He's like, "You need to have sex with my wife right now." And he's like chasing him out of the house and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was funny as well. They had later in the movie, they're sitting in a car and they're still running behind the car.
Yes.
Like
out of nowhere. That is Brett Gelman, and that is Natalie Zaya as Christina and Hal.
Christina.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Hal's in there talking to Hoyt at one point. He's like, "Yeah, you probably think by the beard that probably matches the drapes. totally shaven.
Yeah.
Campbell!
You come to our house? Yeah, he's like, Scott, he's losing his mind.
Come into my house. You say my wife's name correctly. It's Christina.
Yeah. Oh, man. The way they both look at each other, it's really odd. Like,
I love the way he's yelling at her like this is a common name. Like it wouldn't have been a easy mistake to just say Christine. It's Christina.
oh, my. And then she, of course, takes Ferrell to the kitchen and tries to molest him right there. She's screaming, I hate you, SOB, I hate you. He's like, you're so strong.
Look at your cute face. Say, I love you, Christina.
Yeah. You're so adorable. Oh, my God. This chick's out of her mind. Like, he attracts the hot women, but it doesn't mean they're normal, okay? Let's just be honest here. Be honest about what we're seeing. You know?
The other henchwoman that's walking around with Ray Stevenson is also clearly attracted to him, and she just keeps like,
that's right,
just not noticing it at all. It's very funny.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about her. Yeah, she's here too. Tom Clark 6M Podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark 6M Podcast sent you. Bobby Cannavale's in here too. Bobby Cannavale, let me tell you, man, this guy was born to be a cop. He was born to play a New York character. He was born to play a cop, a fireman, a mobster. And I'm not being like that because of any certain thing. Just that face, those eyes, that accent, the hair, and man, he's a very good actor too. Like everything he does, he's very good. Like it just seems like he keeps getting these roles over and over again, man.
Yeah, that's why I can understand what you're saying about Michael Chiklis and not wanting to be typecast, because a lot of these guys, this guy looks like a New York cop. Like that kind of seems like his role, his bread and butter. I could see looking around one day like I don't want to keep playing the same role.
Yeah, no kidding. We also get cameos here. Let's see. We've got Brian James is in this. Yes, BG James is in this movie. Did you know Road Dogg is in this movie?
I did not notice that.
Yeah, Brian James as BG James, but I don't recall where he's at, but he's uncredited. We've also got Joseph Summer as District Attorney Radford, uncredited. Monty Sopp as Kip James. By the way, Road Dogg and Jesse James are in this movie, but I don't know where. Now I got to find them. Rosie Perez shows up. Tracy Morgan shows up. Brooke Shields. Jeter, of course. Horatio Sands is a gallery owner. Ann Heche is here. She's the CEO of Lindell Global. Ice-T, we didn't even mention Ice-T, narrated the whole freaking movie, man.
He's great as the narrator because he's just such a recognizable voice. And of course, the flip of what we knew him from initially in his career, and of course now people recognize him for being on a cop show for a long time. Very very vulgar gangster rapper that had a very anti-cop song, ended up being a police officer on a famous show for a long time. One of his most famous roles in the movie, also a police officer. So yeah, of course, him being the narrator of this movie is even more funny because it's just IT doing his usual Ice-T voice. And the way that he narrates the movie, where he also breaks the fourth wall sometimes, very funny, man.
Yeah, he does. I got to be honest with you. He was on Law and Order for like 30 years or something. Like it's a big number.
Yes.
I cannot sit here and say that I believe that he got better. Okay. I think all right. Because I'm trying to be nice. Because I don't dislike the guy at all. But you know where I'm coming from? Like he's not, I'm trying to be nice.
I mean, it just a lot of times it just feels like Ice-T playing a role.
That's fair.
I think that's part of the joke of it. But it is funny to me that there's an entire generation of people that only knows him as Ice-T's the actor that's been on Law and Order and all these other things, and they don't know that he has an entire history as this very vulgar gangster rapper that people were like protesting at one point.
Man, Charlton Heston came out. The legend Charlton Heston came out in opposition of the cop killer tune back in the day.
Yeah, that's how big this thing became.
Yeah.
And there's a whole generation that doesn't remember any of that, that
Yeah.
wasn't here for it. They wouldn't remember it because they didn't even see it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy when you think about a lot of these things like that. I mean, the fact that some people only know Will Smith as an actor as well. They don't know any of the rap career and some of the stuff before that. There are so many people like that. I mean, just look at where Eminem is at currently in his career. And I this was one of the funniest Twitter exchanges I've ever had with, because somebody was like, because it was about the Kanye stuff, and Kanye at one point was rapping about the Pete Davidson stuff and his whole situation with Kim Kardashian, their divorce, and he was saying very weird things about alluding to him wanting to kill this guy. And I was like, yeah, you can't do that. And this guy responded to me and was like, if Eminem did that, nobody would have anything to say about that. I was like, whoa, how much do you remember about Eminem's career?
No kidding.
This guy was being protested by parents. Politicians were talking about this guy. Like, no, like this guy had a whole line in this movie. FCC won't let me be, or let me be me on MTV. Bro, he was on their radar. What do you mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Isn't that wild that like people's former history, they don't even know where the guys came from, man?
Yeah, he said that. I was like, dude, Eminem?
Yeah.
They just let Eminem say whatever he wanted? That is not what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I can't get my head around that. But you know, some of it is just age. Some of it is, you know, like how many people only know The Rock as an actor?
Yeah.
You know, or Cena or whoever. Like that's a little bit more, it's closer because The Rock was just in the ring a year ago, but like still, I don't know. Like I said, I don't dislike T at all. It's nothing like that. I think it's a good point that sometimes it feels like it's just Ice-T playing a guy, and it doesn't feel like, because he doesn't really lose himself in a role. I don't know that he can.
Yeah, and I think a big part of the bit here is that he has such a long history playing a cop on TV. And so, yeah, it's kind of like one of those no-brainers. Yeah, he's narrating a movie about cops, but also when you tie into it the history of the music he made as well, it makes it even funnier.
We also have Ben Schwartz is here as Beeman's assistant. Beeman is Urshan's attorney, played by Andy Buckley. Probably know those guys from other stuff as well. They're both here. And I believe here that Stevenson's the girl that was next to him as Roger Wesley, Tess Cartel, I think was her name.
Yeah,
it's not clear here who it was. And a little bit of backstage here for you kids. Adam McKay described the genesis of this movie as an accident stemming from a dinner he and Will Ferrell had with Wahlberg. After noticing the two actors' chemistry, McKay wrote producer Kevin Messick an email hypothesizing a possible film starring the two, giving a cop film as an example of what he thought would work. Messick suggested developing that idea into a film. Good way to think ahead. Let's see. Just before Terry, who's Mark Wahlberg, of course, and Alan, Will Ferrell, are forced to turn over their evidence to the Securities and Exchange Commission in New York City, there's a cut scene of a skyline. Since everything takes place in New York City, one assumes that it's a New York City skyline. However, if you look closely, there is the Prudential Tower located in Boston, Mass., where Wahlberg grew up. You know stuff like this, Phil, because you have spotted your city of Chicago many times through the years in one movie after another when it was trying to be passed off as something else.
Yes. I think some of that stuff is intentionally played up for humor sometimes, because they're playing off so many of the tropes, like the coming out and panning out to see all the skylines. That's a very big cop movie trope. The kind of noir saxophone music that plays in between scenes that it makes some of the scenes even funnier because it's playing this very serious music over these things, which I have to imagine was influenced by Lethal Weapon. There's no way it couldn't have been.
Yeah. That's oh, for sure. Gotta be. Yeah, no doubt. What about Gamble's fascination with the Little River Band? Dude.
There's a funny scene as well when Hoyt gets in the car and he puts in that like weird like death metal music and he's like rocking out to it. And he's like, nope, not in here. And
Yeah.
he puts on Little River Band. He's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. He says LRB as if anyone knows what that means.
Yeah, he's got a whole abbreviation for him. Nobody knows what the acronym means, buddy.
Yeah, nobody. And Wahlberg says, this music makes me feel like I'm going shopping for a training bra. Oh, man, that's really good stuff. I got to tell you, man, for the record, Little River Band, I've never been a fan. I've never understood the fascination people have with them. I just don't, not for me.
I don't get it either. It's not really, I don't think I'm really the audience for that music.
I mean, there's plenty of 70s music that's effing gold, but buddy, that's not it. Like that's, there was that whole subgenre feel of 70s music that was considered, and if you know your history, kids, you know that once upon a time FM radio was nothing and everything was AM radio. And then when FM became the go-to, band, everyone moved to FM. And then the joke became that, oh, this is AM gold right here. This is easy listening. That's what kind of the 70s subgenre fell into of Little River Band and, some other like James Taylor, all due respect to James Taylor, but a lot of those artists fell into that subcategory of, this is 70s easy listening music. So yeah, a lot of it's not for me. What about the wooden gun? Talk about out of left field, man.
Yeah.
The wooden gun.
I love that that's played up multiple times and it gets all the way to the point where he doesn't even have the gun. He just has a whistle.
Yes.
Great whistle.
But what's funny is they get to the scene where Ferrell goes into Keaton's office, just slams his desk, and I think he curses at him. And Keaton just gives his gun back to him as if everything's fine. Like
doesn't even think about it, just gives it back. He comes in there and does the Gator needs his gat.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, slams a desk too. Like he calls him a punk a B, right? I'm trying not to curse. But yeah, and he goes, okay, and he just hands it to him.
Isn't he on the phone or something? And
he
just
is.
Like does it in passing. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Gator needs his gat.
Yeah.
Every time he does the Gator character, all of those lines are hilarious. Of course, the conversation he's having with his wife, which I think the fact that his wife has a very unassuming name that you would not expect for Eva Mendes and Sheila, it's like does not fit her at all.
Does not fit her. Yeah, you're right.
But he's like, who's the man that did that to you? Who knocked you up? Gator's bitch better be wearing Jimmy's.
Yeah, he suddenly like flashbacked into what he was before. Like he couldn't help himself. Oh my God. Again, out of left field. So many things happen here. And I love how the one time the wooden gun got stolen, by the way, that they varnished it before they returned it.
Yeah. Oh my God. By far his best crash out of the entire movie is when Wahlberg gets mad at him typing. He gets up and he smashes the computer.
Yes.
He jumps up. He's like, hey, you. This how you conduct yourself? Huh?
Yeah.
We don't do this. We don't do this. Is this how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Yeah. Trying to bring him back down to earth, and it's not really working too well.
Every time I've seen that part, like in tears laughing at it.
I mean, look, if you had to say, okay, there's a I guess Ferrell's the straight man.
Not really, but
not
kind of.
really.
He's like, you think you're a big man, huh? You're a big man? I'm a big man. Look, I wear a belt. Look at my belt.
Yeah.
I wear big man pants.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know. Again, trying to imagine him as the straight man. Don't know if it works, but yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. Let's see. I think we've hit everybody here. Yeah, let's see. Viola Harris is Mama Ramos. That's Sheila's mother. What about the bit with Sheila's mother going back and forth outside, and he's telling her what he wants to do to her daughter? Like,
Yeah, that was crazy. That was one of those jokes that I was like, I don't know how much longer this can go. You got a lot of mileage out of this, but yeah, even the payoff to it of her coming out there dressed as the old woman, it was
yes,
like, okay, I guess. But
he makes her tell him. She says she wants to unplug all the clocks and phones and have a 3-day sex marathon. He's like, that's more like it. Yeah. She's like, she wants to walk wrong for a week because you guys did it so hard. He's like, that's just lovely. And she goes back, he's like, no more. He says things I can't say. It involves sex with a mannequin, electric shaver taped to a golf club. Oh my God.
no more. You guys go too far.
Yeah, you get too far. Man, who would have thunk it? You know what? I think Ferrell's kind of in his element as that sort of that unassuming character that has kind of an edge to him. I don't know that there's been enough of that during his career. I think he's usually just the unassuming guy, kind of the nerd, or well, kind of the loser. I don't know if he's really ever been the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Now I got to find the New Age Outlaws because they're in this movie, but they're uncredited. So I gotta find. They got to be somewhere.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah. Well, we ain't got to talk about that guy. We know where he stands, buddy. Let me tell you. Hey.
Yeah, not a big fan of Brian.
Nah, no. I'm just saying sometimes.
Brian, man.
And it's not to get off on a thing, but it's not even about keep your stuff to yourself. That's not it. You just got the wrong stuff. Like,
yeah, it deeply bothers me that this is a guy that, for a good part of his career, made himself famous off of playing off things from Black culture, and then you then also happen to be a person that supports that and is kind of bigoted in some ways. It's like, that's why every time I say him, the name is Brian. You do not have the privilege of being Road Dogg. Your name is Brian. Nah. All this double G stuff, there's only one double G. That's Snoop Dogg. Your name is Brian.
hey, well, you're not wrong. Well, I'll tell you this. He's no Brad Armstrong. Okay. I mean, think about that. He came from a family that produced Brad Armstrong, one of the most underrated workers of all time. Dude, a guy should hope to be a third as good as Brad Armstrong was. I mean, man, crazy good. But that's me getting off on a rant there. Again, I'm watching the movie again here. Been watching it the whole time, and man, again, don't hate it. I enjoy the film. I think the bits kind of save it. I think if it contained if it lost 2 or 3 of the bits, I don't know if it's as funny overall as it turned out to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very funny movie. It's a very stupid movie. It's very silly humor. But the bits of it that hit are very, very funny.
Yeah, sure. Okay, like we said, things have to click, man, and when they click, you're good. Everything's good.
I think it's just it benefits a lot from getting legitimate surprises that make this very funny. I think if you know some of this stuff is coming, it's not nearly as funny.
Mm-hmm. And talk about how we've already mentioned the cast, but here's a good stat for you. The film features only 6 Oscar nominees in this movie: Mark Wahlberg, Michael Keaton, Rosie Perez, Samuel L. Jackson, Stephen Coogan, and Adam McKay. There's 6 nominees, right? Only one of them has won an Oscar, and it's McKay. I don't know if I saw that coming, but yeah, big cast, like we said before. I didn't know this because I don't know this movie, but apparently Gator, who is Gamble's alter ego, is the pimp, was the name of the lead pimp in the black exploitation classic Chuck Turner from 1974. Try saying that fast 3 times.
I did not know that.
No, I don't know. I don't know those movies. I mean, I maybe by the titles or something, but that would be it. This is the first Adam McKay film not produced by Judd Apatow, which I don't know if there's a lot of significance there. Judd Apatow, forever married to this kind of comedy. We've covered his stuff here before, I believe. Because didn't Apatow do Superbad, I think?
Yeah, he had the whole catalog of these kind of movies. Bridesmaids, um, This Is 40.
Mm-hmm. Knocked Up. I think he did
Yeah, of
Knocked
course,
Up.
because This Is 40 is a spinoff of Knocked Up.
Yeah,
Which This Is 40 is a very, very funny movie.
it is. We got to do that sometime. Yeah, definitely got to do that sometime. By the way, there was some WWE promotion during this movie. Do you remember these guys showing up on WWE stuff?
I don't.
That must have been where New Age Outlaws come into play. But they were, I think they showed up on Raw and SmackDown during all of this to help promote the movie.
Well, listen, man, you had The Rock in it, so that makes
Ah,
sense.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, the Rock with hair and not jacked. This is a not jacked Rock with hair. I think this was the version of the Rock where he came back heel with the guitar and the leather vest.
Yes.
I believe that's the same time frame.
Yeah, he did have that time period where he lost a lot of his weight and he was a much skinnier guy.
Yeah.
And it was weird. He had hair. Like he had actually grown his hair out at one point.
He did.
It's weird.
Yeah, because there was a noticeable change because he hadn't been on WTV in a couple of years. A noticeable difference when he came back that time. Because I think he hosted Mania that year. He didn't do anything. He just hosted, I believe. This is before he got really, really big, like jacked up, you know. Well, kids, I think that's going to do it for us. I think we've hit on some good stuff here. I don't know if there's, I can't answer this because I've never looked it up, but I would wonder why there's never been a sequel to this. I mean, it kind of feels like you could do it, and I don't think it would hurt anything. I don't think there's anything that they did in this movie, Phil, that would, in my opinion anyway, that would be like, oh, it's sacred, you can't touch it, you shouldn't do it. I don't think I view this movie that way, man. I just wonder why they've never moved forward with a part 2 on it.
I don't think we need another one. It's fine. I think one is enough. Everything doesn't need a sequel.
Rotten Tomatoes got a 78% based on 205 reviews. Average rating of 6.7 out of 10, which is actually pretty good. So the reviews were good. Let's see. First day of release, it grossed $13.1 million, placing first for that Friday, and had a large opening weekend take of $35.5 million, placing at number 1 for the weekend of August 6th through 8th, 2010. The film ended up grossing $119.2 million in North America and $51.7 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $170.9 million. Yeah, there was a promotion here. Will Ferrell showed up at San Diego Comic-Con to promote the film, which is a weird place for a movie like this. But apparently they went everywhere. There was an episode of America's Got Talent. The week's contestants saw an advanced screening of the film. So yeah, Ferrell and Wahlberg also made cameo appearance on Raw to promote the film. So there you go.
Was that during the guest host phase?
Maybe. I don't know.
That might be why I didn't remember they did it, because I definitely checked out during that phase.
For sure. And, you know, it could have just been, you know, randomly they'll just show a celebrity backstage running. Oh, they just ran into someone or something. And you're like, all right, this guy's just hanging out backstage, is he? Okay, cool. So that could have been what happened. I don't know. Well, there you have it, kids. There's the other guys. Again, we talked about Ferrell here before, and we wanted to get this one out of the way. And then, of course, we'll cover more stuff in the future with him, I'm sure, and also Wahlberg. Well, before we get out of here, Phil, let's take this home. Give me your last word on the other guys.
Other Guys is a great comedy. If Will Ferrell and this kind of humor is for you, I think you're going to really like this. If you like Adam McKay's movies, I think you really enjoy this. But it's definitely a movie that benefited from a lot of people going into it cold. And I think that that's part of what made it into a cult classic for some people.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm more apt to give Ferrell a chance than maybe I would not. For all the times I've said things like, you know, he's hit and miss for me and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is still very much true. But at the same time, I usually will give whatever he's in a chance. So I absolutely did that here. Wahlberg the same way. I like a lot of his stuff. So, and Michael Keaton, of course, is the freaking man. I think we've established that. But yeah, like we said, if this movie were to get a sequel, it'd be fine. I also don't know if it needs it. I don't think it would hurt anything, but I also don't know if anyone's clamoring to see a part 2 of this movie. Phil, it would be interesting to see these two guys elevated into the guys instead of, and then there's another pair of other guys in the precinct. You know what I mean? That'd be different.
There's stuff you could do with that, I think, but I don't know if we necessarily really need that.
That's fair. Yeah, if you're going to do something, just do something new with these two guys. That'd be fun. I'd be here for that. Kids, there you have it. That's the other guys. And we'll be back with some more stuff. So continue to follow the show, continue to follow along. And as always, we appreciate it. Stay tuned for more content coming your way. But for now, that is The Other Guys. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 6M Podcast. We'll see you next time.